one. And we are live. Good morning. Welcome. Happy Friday. It's Friday, April 15th. It's basically tax day. I know that we technically have till the 18th. We were just discussing that before we went live. So Dennis, since you're the tax guy in the group, kind of, sort of, yeah. Tell us what's going on.
Well, I'm like Gina was saying, I use Smartsheet. I've created my own Smartsheet to track the clients, and I've got it by all these different metrics. And so the nice thing is I can kind of really filter down to see who hasn't responded to my emails, who haven't I bought returns for. I use like ITO, and so I buy the returns, and then I don't file extensions unless, they tell me, because right now I have to pay like $40 for a return. And so I've been sending out emails asking if they want me to do their taxes. If I heard from them, then I just assume they're not going to do it. So it's kind of the ball's in their court. But I've just been trying to, juggle things. It's like it's constantly shifting priorities. People call up and ask, where the return is and all that. So it's kind of...
Right. And what about people calling up today and asking you for the first time if you can do their returns?
I say if I did, they'd be on extension.
I would actually give them the link. Say, here's the form to fill out to file an extension, and here's where I would make them do it themselves. I'd be like, I have no time for this.
Yeah.
I know CPAs that shut their phone off.
Yep.
Do not take calls today whatsoever.
Yeah.
Finishing what they have on tap.
Yeah, I've been not responding unless I recognize the number and I'm,
Currently working in the
Yeah, and I don't respond to my phone when I'm out of the office because I figure I need to be in front of my screen to talk intelligently about it.
Brilliant. All right, let's get into the questions for the week. So a couple questions are for our presenter for today. So as always, we're going to skip over those for now, and then we'll come back to them. I'm just going to mark them. Where's my cell styles? There we are. For later. So Susan Slayton, who's not here with us, it's funny, there are some people who register every week but never actually show up. So Susan wants to know, how's Seth doing this week? Well, I'm doing just fine. Okay, next one is again for Patriot software, so we'll come back to that. It's funny, I'm used to using Excel on my larger screen, but I have you all on my larger screen, and then Excel condenses down the ribbon at the top, so I don't see my options where I'm used to seeing them right now. So if you wonder why I'm hesitating, that's why. Am I taking a vacation next Tuesday? And if yes, where? This comes from Gina herself. So the answer, Gina, is yes, I actually am, I'm going to say coincidentally, taking a vacation. It has nothing to do with tax season. It has to do with my annual pilgrimage to Israel to get together with my family for Passover.
Oh,
When?
So
Nice.
I am leaving for Israel on actually Wednesday. I'm leaving.
how long a flight is that?
14 hours.
Which way do you go? Do you go east or west?
We go towards Europe from here.
Okay.
We pass over New York because
Okay.
they kind of fly over like Amsterdam and then head down towards the Middle East.
How long will you be there?
Just about exactly a week. So I leave on the 20th and I come back on the 27th.
You're not going to leave from there and go to Maui?
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna have a week to unpack and pack, and then go into Maui. It's funny because I didn't even realize how back to back they were. For some reason, I thought Maui was later, and I was like,
I know.
oh.
I wish it were.
How long does it take your body to recover coming back?
Well, what I do is I plan ahead. So when my return flight lands at 6:27 a.m. Los Angeles time, and so basically at that point I have the car service pick me up, take me home. I drop my bags, kiss my dogs, climb into bed. I go on to LA.
What about your wife?
She'll be at work by then. She'll be at work by then.
You know you're bad.
So I climb into bed with my laptop, labites.com. I order usually some salads delivered from, we have a chain here called the Chop Stop, which has really good salads. So I have LA Bites deliver me 2 salads. So usually I'm hungry by then. So I'll have 1 salad right then, and then I'll usually nod off and then wake up and have another salad and just watch TV all day. That's how I recuperate when I come back from a long trip and flight like that. That's the plan. So
that's right. You have that extra day. Whenever you do vacation, You extend your vacation an extra day for that recovery period.
Always.
The mistake is getting online and getting caught up in just one response, then you're done. You're talking to everyone.
Nope. I will. So yeah, that becomes a Netflix day. And that's pretty much what I'll be doing that whole day for whatever time that I'm actually awake, because I don't, I'm not going to sleep that well on the flight. But yeah, I always plan that extra day for recuperation. And Maui, I extended so that I'm staying through the week. Wait, Annie, looks like you're talking, but I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me
now I can hear you.
I was just asking, do you go every year to Israel for Passover?
We started it last year, and apparently my father was very pleased. It was very nice for my parents to see the family all together, especially there of all places. And it's a long-time Jewish tradition. Every year at Passover, we say as part of the service. Are you Jewish, Annie?
Some of my family is. Yes.
Okay, so we always say every year as part of the Passover ceremony, we say next year in Jerusalem.
Okay.
So we are actually getting to live that out every year. So my father, especially, I mean, of course, my mother's ecstatic too, but my father's the one who kind of said after last year, he says, we got to do this every year. I said, if you're buying, I'm flying.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Because it's like a $2,000 flight. And that's for coach. That's not even first class.
And that's not food and hotel and car.
Yeah, well, that part I never really worry too much about. I mean, we're staying in a nice little resort where they have, plenty of food.
Do you stay with mom and dad on the floor?
I stay in the same room with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can really bundle up.
All right, so moving on, because we do need to get into the event of the day. Sarah, you asked, your question was more of an exclamation. Makeovers, rebranding help. So,
Yeah, help.
so we're going to talk about that a lot on Monday in my webinar on marketing and accounting for
Okay.
keepers. So that's what it's all about. So make sure you join us for that, or
Yeah.
register to get the recording. Another question for Patriot, which we'll come back to. And then Michelle from Patriot Software asked, cat person or dog person? I have 3 dogs. There's no doubt I'm a dog person.
He is a dog person.
And then Dennis wants to know, what is my favorite piece of advice to give to new clients? Run! No, what's my favorite piece of advice to give to new clients? Review the balance sheet with me. That's usually the first thing I make clients do. And that's my favorite piece of advice, is let me walk you through the balance sheet line by line, account by account, so that we can figure out what's really going on inside of your company. And you're probably tired of me already, talking about how important I think that is to get to the bottom of where the client really needs my help, where the client really needs your help. We talked a lot, I think it was last week, about value pricing and using Mark Wickersham's program to put the pieces together that based on what you're going to charge. But in my opinion, you can't possibly know what those pieces even look like until you've reviewed the balance sheet and figured out based on that what the client needs, right? We don't know. Yeah, they're going to need account reconciliation, but how much? Are they doing a good job of keeping it up on their own, or aren't they? That's going to tell me how much focus I need to place on account reconciliation. Moving through the balance sheet. Are they managing their receivables well? Are there a lot of old aged receivables? All those sorts of things. So the balance sheet review, I think, is the most important piece of advice, and it needs to be the first piece of advice that I give a new client.
Especially if you see negative payables and receivables.
Mm-hmm.
That's never a good sign.
Every time. Every single time I get into that receivables aging, I see negative negative numbers in there, and then it's okay. So did you take a deposit from a customer, or did you forget to invoice them?
Right. I'm really surprised how many business owners have no clue of just a simple AR aging, AP aging.
Because they don't run the aging.
They're day to day, and they stay in their checkbook, and
they run a balance sheet, and they see the aggregate accounts receivable number, which is going to be positive in most cases. Until that number goes negative, then all of a sudden they get worried. But by then, it's often such a mess that it costs them a small fortune to get it cleaned up.
I think I told you one time I had a client whose bookkeeper, who was also just an admin, was charging off invoices to a bank account. So he had like about $10,000 of a fictitious bank account on the balance sheet.
Wonder what that was.
And I'm just, had a really kind of a funky name for a bank account. So I looked at it and I thought, oh God. But I mean, if he'd been making business decisions on, assuming he had an extra $10,000 he didn't really have, that would have been kind of bad.
Right. My favorite one, and I've told you guys this a number of times, was the client where I started doing the initial review of their books, and they had the very even transfers out to a bank account. And when I asked them about that, they said, oh, we have another bank account for payroll, and those are the transfers to cover the payroll. And those even transfers were all just booked to payroll expense. I said, great. And they said, oh, the bookkeeper we had is great. She's just gotten too busy for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she sounds like she was fantastic. All right, so Michelle just joined us. And speaking of payroll, among other things, I think this is a perfect time and a good segue into our event of the day. Annie, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time to be with us. You are from Patriot Software. And tell us a little bit about you and Patriot Software, who you are, who the company is, what you guys do, who you do it for, why you do it, where you do it, when you do it. Give us the rundown.
All right.
Get that?
So I'll start by telling a little story about how Patriot got started about 30 years ago. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Can we turn you up?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we need more volume.
Yeah, can you speak maybe more into the mic or?
Yeah, the mic is part of the webcam, so maybe.
That's
can you hear me
better.
better if I'm closer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'll just be zoomed in right in you. Right
There we go.
Okay. So about 30 years ago, our owner, his name is Mike Capel, he had left his computer programming job for a big company and wanted to go into business for himself. So it was a rough startup. He started in the basement of a factory. It was not pretty. There was no heat, no air conditioning. It would flood. He would hang curtains to make office partition walls, bare light bulbs. So it was just not pretty, a very rough startup experience. At that time, he hired a couple employees. He didn't know the first thing about being an employer, how to hire, terminate people, how to pay a payroll. He didn't know that you needed to give a pay stub with the paycheck to the employee. So there are just a lot of life lessons learned to how to run a business and be an employer. So fast forward through 30 years through today, he calls himself a serial entrepreneur. He has 5 successful businesses that he runs right now. Patriot Software is one of those. And the reason that Patriot was developed was he has a heart for small business owners. He knows the trenches that they are in, the fact that a lot of them start up kind of like you were saying, they just don't know what they don't know. And so Patriot, he's got a huge respect for small business owners. And he knows that small business, there's 2 things small business owners never have enough time of, which is time and money, right? So we wanted to build our software so that it's very easy to run, it's hassle-free, and it's very affordable. So that is, and we launched the payroll first, and then we also have a cash basis accounting, simple accounting product to go with it as well. And the nice thing is all of the data flows seamlessly within all of the products. Was anybody at SleaderCon last year?
I've spoken there every year for a few years.
Okay, very good. So we were there. We had our booth in the expo hall.
Mm-hmm.
And Judy McCarthy was kind enough to include us in her presentation of comparing different payroll providers. So we were mentioned in that. And we will also be there this November as well, and I'll actually be presenting this year.
So here's a question. I've seen 2 sort of names associated with your brand. I've seen Patriot Software and Patriot Royalty. What's the difference?
Patriot Royalty is the royalty program for Patriot Software. So
Okay.
Patriot Software is not only our company name, but we also refer to it as our product name as well. So when we tell you to log in, you're going to be using Patriot Software. The Patriot Royalty is just the royalty program that we have.
I got you. And so that's like a partner program, I assume, where people can get paid for referring you clients. Got it. Okay, and we'll talk about that for sure a little later on. So let's ask the obvious. What makes Patriot Software different from other similar software programs?
Well, the fact that it's a standalone product. So we have time and attendance that feeds into payroll. We have payroll that feeds into accounting. So everything is seamless. We offer a free employee portal, so they will actually be the ones logging in. They can enter their time cards, which would flow right into payroll. They can also, look up their paycheck information and update some of their own personal information. The fact that we have 2 levels of payroll service. We have a basic payroll where you do the tax filings yourself, or full service payroll, which is what the majority of our customers go with, where we will handle all of your federal, state, and local tax deposits and filings. So that's one thing that also differentiates us is that we're.
And let me stop you on that point for a second, because this is always the question that comes up. We'll get into the actual pricing later, but what's the difference in price between the basic where you have to do it yourself and the full service? How much more does it cost?
Yeah, for the retail customers of the world, it's $10 a month for one employee, and then it goes up incrementally based on the number of employees. So it's $10 a month for basic, $25 a month for the full service.
So as an accountant, I always tell my clients, please do not do it yourself. Please spend the extra money and do, because I'm going to end up with that headache when you screw it up.
That's exactly right. And we have basic customers that, they think they can do it themselves, and then they come, dragging their tail between their legs saying, help me, I've messed everything up. And
yeah, so I get that you have to offer it as the software developer. You have to offer the option, because there's going to be somebody out there who's going to say, oh no, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to be a cheap knucklehead and spend the money until it really costs me, because of one time I screw up, then I'm going to say, it would have been worth it if I had just paid the extra money all along, because one mistake, stiff penalties. Dennis, right? How much does it cost me if I mess up my payroll taxes?
I think it's 1%. I can't. I'm not that much into payroll. I know there's a penalty for failure to file, and they get pretty nasty.
Yep. Sarah, have you seen this?
Start to $3,000. Most penalties that I have seen have been around the $3,000 mark to start out with.
Is it you're talking about late payments? Yeah,
Late payments.
it's incremental by how many days it's
Yeah,
late.
late payments.
It can start off 3%, 5%, 10%, but then what kills you is the compounded.
So Anna, you said it's a difference of $15 a month, right? You said it's 10 for the basic, 25 for the full. So the difference will cost you an additional $315 a year, 300 versus 3,000.
Exactly.
Whatever you know what? I'd rather, what I'd say to the client, do me a favor, give me the difference, right? Sign up for the $315 a month extra plan.
I can't do it for that price.
Give me the other $2,500. I'll hold on to it.
Right. Yeah, so we always tell our customers, if you compare the difference in the two levels, you're going to find that it's way worth your time. Let us handle it for you. We know what we're doing. You may not. So.
Yep, exactly. Just like sales tax and Avalara. Just please let the experts do their job.
Exactly.
I had somebody email me this week. I have a video that shows you how to book the payroll after it's been done. Right. By the way, do you guys integrate with QuickBooks?
We do not. I will say for QuickBooks Desktop, we do offer an export file. And then we also offer just a regular CSV export file as well.
Okay.
And it's an IIF?
Yes, it is.
But I'll say this. I've used the IF with another payroll service, and it actually works very well. I'm the first one, just like you, Sarah, to run away from the IF.
It depends on if it's set up correctly.
Yeah, if it's set up correctly, it can actually work very well. You just have to make sure that whoever's prepared it knows how to prepare it correctly. So I was going to ask something else about this, and now I've lost my train of thought.
Talking about the difference.
But the difference, and also, so I have a video and a template that shows you how to book it after the fact. So you have the outside payroll service, and then you get the report, right? So we've got a report that says, hopefully there's some kind of a cash requirements report that says, here's the base payroll, here are the taxes, here's the split between employer and employee, so you can figure the tax payment split, and you can record it all. And I have a template that lets you punch in the numbers off that report, and it figures out what the payment should look like, so you can see clearly what the split is. And I put in very large print, do not use this template to calculate your payroll. It will be wrong. And sure enough, I still get emails from people saying, essentially indicating very clearly that they're thinking they're going to use my template to calculate their payroll. And it's just like, no, don't. And it's easy enough to calculate or to book it as long as you have the right reporting. So we're going to get into a demo of the product in another minute or two, and we're going to see what that looks like, I imagine. So typical customer, is it anyone who runs payroll, or is there somebody specially who fits your mold?
Small business owners. So we tell people 100 employees, but really the majority of our customers are very, micro small businesses that, these are the people that need the resources and the help. And, they're not going to be payroll experts. They're experts in making widgets or whatever they're doing to run their business. So it's the small customers. And then because of the royalty program that we've launched, we know that accountants have also started using our product as well to use for running payroll for their own clients as well.
Right. All right, so you want to give us a demo of the product? You want to share your screen?
Yes.
So move your mouse over. You'll see a little green share screen button at the very bottom.
All right. Let me give me just a second here. Sorry. I just want to make sure
Take your time. No worries.
make sure I didn't log myself out.
And it's tricky. You have to like hide out, make sure you're not in email and.
No, I missed part of it. Is it desktop or is it SaaS type of accounting?
It is online.
Okay.
It is online. So anywhere you've got an internet connection is where you can use our products. All right. Let me share. Let me move you guys over here.
Well, once you share, it's going to minimize us anyway. So.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So what I'm showing you is a demo account, and it's filled with just sample fake data. We have some presidents in there that are our 3 employees. So you can go to the website as well and start a sample account as well. And we encourage people to, go in here, play around. It's all sample. You're never going to hurt anything. So this is just the main dashboard. And then I'm going to go to the payroll homepage. And so we've actually put some information in here already. And so I'm going to just finish the payroll that we've kind of started. So payroll is a very easy 3-step process and you're done. So you're just going to enter the pay periods and the pay date. Here are my 3 employees. So I've got 1 hourly guy, 2 salary guys. You would just enter the regular hours, overtime hours. And then if you want to add additional money, such as, sick time, oops. And then if you want to pay bonus, commission, so you can enter both hours and dollars here for anything additional that the employee needs. And then the salary.
I'm sorry, can you enter expenses? Can you reimburse expenses?
Yes. So that is one of the money options that are already preset in here. And then you have the customization that you can add whatever kind of hours and money you want.
And what about the reimbursement? Like, what about the recoupment of that reimbursement? Can I just put that in as a negative, or do I have to create a different kind of item for that?
You could put it in as a negative, or you can create a deduction for it.
Got it.
On how you want to tax it. Yes.
Beautiful. I love that. That makes it so nice and easy. I love, like, I just want to put it in as a negative. That's the way my brain works. I'm like, I advance the money as a positive. And you know where this comes in a lot is where the S Corp officer salaries are run, and I want to zero out the net check. So it's really not even a recoupment of a reimbursement, but it's just it's a deduction against what they have taken out as distributions during the year. So that's where this comes up for me a lot.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So you could do it either way. If you wanted to set a limit, if they were paying in installments, you could set a lifetime limit on that deduction, so it would just automatically stop once it hit that amount if you didn't want to keep track of that. So
is it tracking vacation hours and things like that as you?
It does. It does. So I can show you that in one.
Yeah. Ignore me. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's
I
good.
warned Annie that this would happen.
Yeah. No, I said bring it on. Bring them on.
How about payroll deductions like 401ks and HSAs and that kind of stuff?
Yes. Yes. So, and I'll show you that as well. Yeah. So let's just go to the next step. Let's pretend we've entered all of our hours and our dollars. The salary people, they're automatically going to be paid unless you change that to a no. So that's kind of hands off. So we'll go ahead and we'll click next step.
Yeah, and I noticed that you couldn't override the rate.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, correct. You'd have to go back to the employee screen to do that before you ran the payroll.
Okay.
Okay, so this is step 2. So this is where you're looking at the totals. We have a view details where you can actually look to see. I don't know if you can see that very well, but this
I love that. It looks like the actual paycheck stub.
Exactly. Yep. So, and then at the bottom, if you're a full service customer, it'll give you the totals. It's also going to give you the payroll tax breakdown. And this is what we would debit from your bank account the day before payroll. So it's going to give you a heads up that this is the amount that we're taking from you. If everything looks good, we can go ahead. If you need to make changes, go back to step 1. It's very easy. Just make your change and come back here. So we're going to approve the payroll.
That's just gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
But it is easy to read. Yeah, that's important.
I love the layout. Yeah, it's just there's other payroll services that I've used where I often have so many questions when I'm going through this very process, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's the amount that's going to come out? How's that broken? I mean, I love the way you guys lay it out so clearly.
Yeah. It's for people who are not payroll experts. So we, our goal is to make this as easy and painless as possible.
Is there a chance to look at reports before we pull the trigger?
The reports are no. So between step 2 and 3 is when you pulled the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So the view details where it showed the employee check detail and then the totals, that kind of serves as the report.
So the focus is on each check at a time, get it right, instead of batching, like I've got timesheets for 10 employees and we'll hash.
So Annie, I think the question here is really, is there a way to look at a summary of all the payroll without having to look at all the details before I approve the payroll?
There were the totals, and I can run another one and take you back to step 2.
Okay.
Show you that. So here, step 3 really is your payroll's done. Do you want to print checks now or later? So, and then when you print now, a PDF document pops up with their checks. You would load your blank pre-printed check stock into your printer and print them off.
And I assume we can set employees up for direct deposit?
That is correct. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let me go back. Let me just run a new payroll real quick, and I'll show you step 2 again. So we'll just pretend that everything is today. Okay, so once you've entered your hours, we'll go to the next step. So without me clicking that View Details button up here that showed the actual check detail, this is what you would see.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're going to see the total hours, and then the gross pay and the net pay for each person.
All right, so you're approving the paycheck.
Well, you're approving all of the checks in this.
Oh, that's all of them at the very, oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, so there's 3 different guys here: Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and George Washington.
yeah.
So they're going to be grouped by hourly. There's only one hourly guy, so it's kind of there's hourly and salary.
I like the sample names. It goes very much in line with the whole Patriot concept.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so let me approve this and we'll get out of here. Let me show you an employee record, and I'll show you where to set up their deductions. So we'll just go into Thomas Jefferson here.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got these links across the top. These are all for his record, and then you can easily switch between people through this drop down. So we've got his personal information. We have his pay information. This is his paycheck history. So kind of like step 2 of payroll, it shows the breakdown of each paycheck. This is where you set up all of his tax withholding, his federal filing, his state, if he's got local. And then deductions and contributions. So this is where you would set up their 401k, their medical, anything that needs to be deducted from their pay. In addition to company paid contributions is down here. So if you have a 401k match, an HSA match, company paid life insurance, the employer share of medical, that would all go down here. So that's not going to affect their pay at all. It's just a for information number that is useful in reporting.
I assume the lifetime means that we can't reset it every year?
So there's an annual limit and a lifetime limit. So lifetime is usually just used for a one-time thing like a loan, where annual limit, and I can show you.
Well, sometimes they have multiple loans, and I'm always screwing with to make sure that it stops when it says it's going to stop.
Right. So what I would do is leave that loan deduction alone and start a new one for the new loan. So then you've got different deductions.
A separate code.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So this is adding a new one. So you're going to select from the drop-down list of whatever they haven't already defined.
Mm-hmm.
And then the amount per pay. Well, let's pretend it's a loan repay. So the amount per pay. Oops.
It looks like it's grayed out somehow, like you can't enter it.
That's because at the company level.
Got
it. And then this is where you can enter a monthly limit. That's normally used for benefit deductions if you're paying biweekly. You don't want that to come out on the third blue moon pay of the month.
Mm-hmm. Garnishments and things, yeah.
Yep. And then an annual limit. So annual limits we, encourage them to use for 401k, for the highly compensated people that are going to reach the limits for that year. And then the lifetime for the one-time loans. So that is how you add a deduction for an employee. And then we also have a time and attendance add-on, like I was mentioning, and then we also have an HR add-on as well. So for those that want to track a little bit more human resource related information, they can track their position info, when they were hired, their title, their position type, the history of their comings and goings, their history of their position, emergency contacts. You can add any notes to their file and any attachments. So
attachments. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Now, what about for like new hires? You know, all the forms that they have to fill out, the I-9 and all that. Do you guys facilitate that process and make it easy for them where they can kind of just download the...
We provide them help. So we have help articles with checklists of what they need to do in order to get all that set up. So we have links to the W-4 and the I-9, and we have state-by-state resources depending on their state that they're in. I'll show you the add employees screen. So we're in a demo, so it's warning you, don't really add your employees here, but it's just very simple interface, add their name, address, phone, their pay type, whether they're hourly, salary non-exempt, their rate, what their frequency is, and then if you have the time add-on, whether you want them to be a manual entry employee where it doesn't matter the time of day, they can enter their time at any time, or time punch where it's this time of day when they punch, that's what's going to be recorded.
You know, so and then once they fill out the employment forms, I can upload them as attachments because those attachments were in the context of the employee, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's perfect. Now, and then speaking of time, let's say I'm using a time tracking solution. Is there a way to import, let's say, a CSV file to Patriot software to have it figure out the hourly based pay, or no?
We are working on that now. So as of this point in time, we don't offer that, but that is something in the future that we are looking at, the ability to import other time and attendance systems into here.
Great.
Right now, when you look at the time cards for everybody, and we have some sample data here, you'll notice that once, well, let's just look at one. We'll go in here. Okay, so here's an hourly guy, Thomas Jefferson. Here is his pre-filled sample data that we've got in here. So either the employer can enter this right here as I am, or the employee would go in through their employee portal and enter these hours.
That was my question. Could the employee do it?
Is there a mobile app where they can do it from?
It's a response. It's not an app, but it's responsive. So it looks like on a mobile device and a tablet. Yep. So the employees can log in, put these times, and so you can see down here whether the employee approved it and the manager approved it. So we'll just pretend that he approved it. So we will go back, we'll exit out of his time card and we'll go back to this list. So once all of the employees' time cards are finalized and approved, all you have to do is click send to payroll, and then it will very conveniently fill in all of this information for you. So you don't have to data enter the hours. You have the time and attendance part. So it makes it nice and convenient.
Mm-hmm. How flexible are you for boo-boos? In other words, if you're going to do like the state unemployment, and so it doesn't affect the paycheck, but it's accruing, and then you find out that, of course, Georgia releases their rates after the year's already started. So some of them don't find out that their rates are wrong until we're doing the quarterly in April.
Yep.
So
where a company would go in.
Does the employer have to know how to do this, or do y'all go to do the quarterly and go, whoa, now we've got an extra money that we need to deposit, and the return goes out correctly?
Yeah, so we send reminders to our customers saying, don't forget to update your state unemployment rates. You know, you should have gotten a letter last year. This is the page that they would come to.
So the state unemployment isn't updated automatically. You send out reminders, but the employers have to do it.
It's per employer. It's not a state.
I see.
And
right.
It's based on that business's experience. So that's one that we have to rely on them to go in here and update for us.
Right.
This is the area that messes up so many small companies. They have no clue what that is, and they just, but when you go to do the return is going to calculate correctly, and it's going to be short. So Patriot software would know that this was wrong.
That's correct. So see, I've got my effective date of 0.6%. So I'm going to go and update my new rate as of April, and we'll just say it's 2%. So when I update that, I don't know if this will.
Will it go retroactive and fix?
It will. So see, this screen is telling me it's going to collect an extra $73.78. So it's going to do the smart. It's got the smarts in the calculation to figure out what the difference was depending on the effective date and that rate. So you're going to accept and say, okay, I'm authorizing you to take that $73.
Right, 'cause now it'll match the return. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So again, we try to just keep it as easy and painless as possible for them, and try to avoid shooting themselves in the foot is what we like to refer to as, put the buttons in there so they can't get themselves too messed up.
All right. So onboard, usually when I look at payroll, there's onboarding, then there's who's doing the processing, and then there's the back end. How do we make it work in the accounting? So all the onboarding is us. There isn't any, the employee can go fill out all their information online.
That's correct.
Right?
We are working towards that, but right now the employer or you would have to enter the employee information by that add employee screen.
Right.
Yeah, and then once they're added, then the employee can log into their employee portal and make changes to their address and emergency contact.
Does it squawk at you if you put like 45 hours and no overtime?
No.
It just assumes that
it is. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have the control in place just because there are situations where that would be okay.
True.
Yeah.
A holiday or something. Yeah.
Right. So I'll show you the managed time off. Somebody had asked about tracking vacation. So what we have here is you can create different types of time off, and it would keep track of the balance. And so when you either enter on the time card that he took vacation, or if you enter directly in payroll, then it would be subtracted and it would keep a running balance here. And then the employee would also be able to see that on their time card as well. And then you can go in here and edit, add and subtract.
What is your turnaround time if we're processing payroll? When do we have to have all this finished, say, so the employee gets a direct deposit on a Friday?
Okay, so it depends on if they have direct deposit or not. If there's no direct deposit involved, there is no turnaround time. It's 30 seconds. Direct deposit, we use a third-party provider called NatPay. If you don't want the pre-funding option, it's a 4-day turnaround time for free. So if you didn't want to pay anything extra, you would have to run your payroll Tuesday to get it, or maybe it's Monday. Somebody can correct me on that. It's a 4-day time. So you'd have to run it Monday to get it direct deposited by Friday. There are expedited fees if you wanted a 3-day turnaround. And then we also offer a pre-funded option where you're letting NatPay debit a chunk of money prior to your payroll, but it's going to be a little bit higher than that for a 2-day, and that's free. And then if you want a 1-day, then that's extra.
That's an interesting concept. I hadn't, maybe other companies do that, but I hadn't bumped into that. If you know what your payroll is going to average, the trick is Patriot wants to make sure that they're covered before the employee gets paid.
Exactly.
So you pre-fund it, and then you can, I like that.
Yep. Yeah, so it's quicker if you agree to get pre-funded, and as long as they have the money quicker, then you're going to have a 2-day.
So then do you have a bucket of money that we're tracking, like, here's how much money of my money you have, and because it's going to change every year, week, so.
Yeah, so this is our third-party provider, NatPay, that's actually doing the debiting and holding that money. And they're
I live in the South, so
NatPay. So National Payment Corporation is their full name. So NatPay.
It is a Nat.
Nat. Not a G-N-A-T, just a N-A-T. So, so they will be the ones that would actually be debiting the bank account, holding the money, and then, dispersing to the employee bank account.
Right. Looks straightforward.
Yeah. I will show you some reports. Somebody had asked about that. So,
we're all about back end.
Yeah. So so if you haven't noticed, we have this left menu on the side here. So this is kind of where you find everything. We have a report section. So we've got under payroll reports, we've got the payroll register. So it's going to, by default, just show the most current payroll you ran, and it's just a detail for each employee, and then totals at the bottom there. The payroll
Drop that in
details,
Excel or export it in some way?
the payroll details you can. So I don't know if you can see this download spreadsheet.
Oh, I see it. There you go.
Yes. So the payroll details is a little bit more details where you can choose the different sources instead of just true payroll that you're running. We also have payroll history. So for new customers, we always ask them, is this your first payroll of the year, or do you have history year to date? And that's very important that they enter that prior to them starting their first payroll with
So
us.
there's a human being helping with the initial.
There is. So we have a stellar, fantastic customer support team that is there to walk our customers through these steps, because even though we try to make it easy, it's still a lot of stuff to make sure that they know that they're doing right. So so before if they try to run a payroll in the system, they're going to be stopped with a question, wait, do you have payroll history yet? And so depending on if they do, then we're going to help them enter their payroll history year to date. So they're going to have all of that information ready, and they might not have it ready at the time. So they're going to have to grab all that for each employee and just, start data entering away. And then we also do offer free setup to our retail customers. So if the small businesses are just too overwhelmed and it's just too much stuff, they're going to give all of those old reports to us, and then our fantastic team will data enter that all on their behalf. So we make it as easy as possible for them.
So I assume there's a wholesale program that we can onboard and take care of all those chores.
Right. Yes, that is exactly right. So
Before you leave the reports, though, one of the things that I tend to lose when I see a client go to a separate payroll program is say we're having a workers' comp audit, and it's like April 1st through, can I get totals with different date ranges, or am I limited to 1 year at a time?
Yeah, currently it's only by pay date, and that is definitely something that we are working towards, making it easier to report by true calendar quarter or calendar month. Right now it's all based on the check date.
Okay, but if I have a really wide range of the check dates, though, it'll give it to me even if it crosses over December?
Yes.
Okay, well, that would work.
Yeah, so these start and end dates can be in any year, and it's still going to pull in all of the data that you need.
Yeah, that's what I have to make sure is there. Yeah.
Yep. And so we just have a couple other, we have a check payment detail.
Annie, I have a question. If I'm switching from another payroll provider to you, how do you facilitate the sort of transfer and the taxes that have been paid in to date and all that stuff? Is it like, what's that process look like?
The process looks like for full service customers, they're going to see on their payroll homepage a checklist of links of everything that they're going to need to do. So part of that is entering the payroll history, because that's going to help us figure out what has already been paid and, should have been paid by the other provider. But our customer support will work with the customer to figure out granular, okay, did they take care of SUTA? Did they take care of, fit, all of that stuff? So that's going to be kind of a more customer contact to make sure that we are clear on what has been paid and what has not been paid. Throughout the process of getting set up for the full service payroll, the last screen, we kind of call it our baton page, where we're passing the baton from one payroll provider to another, where we're going to calculate based on the information that's been entered, this is what we think your responsibility is going to be, and then based on the date that you sign up with us going forward, this is what we will take care of. So we make that very clear to them, okay, we're not going to take care of this unless you want us to for an extra charge, we will, but this is when your full service starts, and going forward, this is the amount that we're going to be depositing and filing for you. So we try to make that crystal clear so there's no confusion. We try to keep that to a minimum.
Is there any plans to let us do, say, multiple kinds of pay? Right now I just see regular and overtime. Like if they maybe their job description, they have some hours doing this kind of job and this hours,
Yes, so that is on deck as well, multiple pay rates.
Multiple pay rates, yeah.
Yes, so we are working towards that as well.
Cool.
Yep. Did you want to see anything in the accounting package? It's pretty simple, cash-based.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see if we can say we do a payroll and you can export totals.
Okay. So this is the export payroll.
Yeah.
And this is the IIF file. So it's the summary file going to QBD.
Mm-hmm.
So you would set up your QuickBooks account names, and then for whatever day you can select all employees.
And that's the trick right there, is if QuickBooks likes it named perfectly, or it sets up new accounts, right?
Exactly. We actually have this. Enter your account names
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah, the best process there is to take your chart of accounts and export it to Excel so you can actually copy and paste the name. This way there's no chance of an error.
Yep. Because obviously this is the reason this is here, because we've had issues with that.
How about a QBO or zero?
We are working towards that right now. The only thing we have is just the download CSV file. So this is the only actual file export that we have, the IIF.
Because that seems to be the way the market's going, is to the online accounts.
Right. Yep. As are we with the payroll. So yeah.
And I did see that you've got that one dude that doesn't have a bank account, so we have to do it the old-fashioned way and print a check.
Yes.
So
mishmash. Not all employees have to have direct deposit.
All right.
That,
Now, can you print checks and get them to me?
Mine do.
No.
My employees are required. If they can't do direct deposit, they can't work for me. It's that simple.
Yeah. But to answer your question, you will print your own checks.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and I missed it. I think Sarah started to ask about the turnaround time, and can you just give me the quick answer, because I think I got distracted for a minute. So
on your website, maybe comparing the different
The different funding options for direct
yes.
deposit.
Can't speak.
Well, and so my concern, Annie, is this. I've had situations with another payroll provider where, especially in switching, they switch from a provider where the turnaround time could be pretty quick to a provider where it takes like a good week to get somebody paid from the time you process the payroll. So I missed the answer. I think Sarah asked us, how quickly, how far in advance do I need to process payroll before somebody can get paid?
For the free option where there's no pre-funding, where NatPay is going to wait till after you run the payroll to see exactly what the total net pay is they're going to need to take, that's 4 days. So you can shorten that time by either paying a fee, it's like $5 cents per line or something to make it to 3 days and still not do the pre-funding. Or you can allow NatPay to pre-fund your account. So they're going to debit even before you run a payroll. They're going to, you have like estimate 15% higher than what your normal payroll amount is. Once you run a payroll, then it would take 2 days. It would be a 2-day lead time if they already have it.
So the bottom line is, if I need to get it done, even if it's just a one-time thing, I can pay to have it done within 2 days.
Yes. Yes.
And that's business days, I assume. So if it's a Friday, it's not going to happen until
That's
2
right. So bank holidays don't count. Yes. So they're
Right,
going to be business days where banks are open. And
Is it based on a certain time, with Intuit, their West Coast, which gives us till 8 o'clock at night?
Yeah, it is.
Cut off?
Yeah, I think I think the cutoff is 4 p.m. because it's Eastern.
4 p.m. Eastern?
Yes.
Yeah, but I love those options, because the other provider, I'm obviously not going to mention their name. The only way to get it expedited was you had to jump through a lot of hoops. You had to get a screenshot of your bank account and send it to them to prove that you had the money in the account to cover it.
Oh my gosh,
ridiculous.
seriously?
I'm serious. That was their official process for getting it expedited. So, because I had a screw up with actually it was a contractor. Oh, and Annie, we can set up to pay contractors through here too, I assume.
That is correct. That is through the accounting portion. So that we have a 1099 only plan, or we have the fuller accounting where you have customers and vendors and wells. But yes, you can pay 1099s through the accounting product.
And then you guys will issue the 1099s?
Correct. You would print them and issue them. So it's all in PDF format.
Oh, how about e-file for the 1099s? No.
We don't offer the 1099. Well, no, we don't offer the e-file for 1099. That's
Okay.
something we're working on.
Just default for W-2s.
So, but I can take those PDFs and email them to people. I know some people are hesitant to email a 1099 to somebody. I have never had an issue with that with anyone. So that's what I'd be inclined to do. I don't do paper. I just don't. I want to strangle people when I find out that they still print emails. But big companies do. They do. It's their policy. They have to print them to file them. And it's like, you idiot.
True. But email with a social security number on it. You'd want to provide some sort of portal or something. But so could our employees go to your site and make sure that they're happy with single, married, their status? Can they go to your site and see their W-2, print a copy of their W-2?
Yes.
You lose it?
Yeah, right now we don't, this is another feature that we're going to have soon, is the ability for the employee to download their W-2 in the portal. Currently, it's still either email, like Seth said, or printing and distributing the W-2s to the employee. But they can definitely go in and change their federal tax withholding. And then we're also working on the state-by-state capability as well.
If you're saying the employee can go in and say, all right, I got married, and change it, do you require the new W-4?
Actually, we create an electronic version of the W-4. Yeah.
Okay.
Or when they go in there and change it. So
yeah,
we have an electronic.
Good. Okay. Yeah, that's super. All right.
Stamp for auditing purposes that you can see.
Right. Well, that's huge. That takes a lot of labor away from managing payroll.
On the W-2s and 1099s, do you mask the part of the social number or the?
We do not. Well, we don't make that available in the employee portal. So no, we do not, because we want them to be printable so that you can print them out on your paper and distribute them.
They can be masked when you print them now. That's something new.
Yeah, just get rid of just have the last 4 digits. I'm seeing that quite often on W-2s that my clients are getting.
Or have you? Because I worry about that, because what if the social security number is wrong in the system? Nobody has an opportunity to see it.
Yeah.
There's so much fraud going on. How about those S Corp owners at the end of the year? They have to put on their personal use of auto, and they have to put on their health insurance on the W-2. It doesn't affect the net. Right. Personal use of auto does. It only affects the FICA taxes.
Right.
How proactive are you on that? Say coming into December, warning everybody to enter this information, or?
Yeah, we do send end of year reminders to our customers to make sure that they have all of their affairs in order, so that when January comes, that their W-2s. We also have, I will show you, where am I? We have a W-2 and W-3 summary report that gives them a snapshot of,
okay.
Hold on, let me show you another.
Some of the information is just informational. It's just required on the.
Just another way to make sure that all of your numbers look right before you actually print the forms. And it's no problem, even if the forms are printed and you see something is wrong, you can go back and just recreate the W-2s again.
All right. So, by the way,
other programs that then charge for a whole nother run and make a lot of money, they actually want you to make mistakes.
Yeah. So you can run unlimited payrolls, unlimited W-2s. Because all it is, we're just throwing numbers up on the screen, so it's not possible.
We're coming up on the end of the hour, so Annie, when we can, I want to have you talk about the royalty program, and then of course we want to talk about pricing.
Yes. Okay. Let me go to pricing first. So this is just on our webpage. This is our online payroll. So this is the retail customer. So this is anybody coming to our website, signing up, small business. We have a little calculator here on the side. So as the numbers go up, fees go up. The basic and full comparison is just the differences that we're doing all the payroll tax deposits and filings for full service. Regardless of which option you get, the free setup and support, the free checks, free direct deposit, everything's up to date on our system. You just have to update your SUTA rates, printable W-2s, the email portal. And so for the royalty program that we have, let me pause share a minute. Let me bring something else up.
Does basic, sorry.
That's okay.
When you say deposit and file payroll taxes is only full. But do you deposit the payroll taxes on basic? No?
No. So we don't do anything with anybody's payroll taxes.
You're producing paychecks.
Exactly. And we
You
give
would
you
have to.
yeah, and I didn't show you this, but we have a tax liability report that our basic customers would then
Oh,
use
there's an idea.
to know how much they need to be depositing and filing.
So we could still support our clients doing all that
if you want
create a revenue stream, but yet we're using your software to produce checks.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay.
All right.
You're not forcing us to deposit money before we need to deposit money. Okay.
Right.
Oh,
Okay, let me try something here. Okay. Do you see this? Do you see my little
Yep. How much can you earn?
Yeah. So for the royalty program, there are 2 different levels that you can do. You can become an advisor. It's totally free to apply as an advisor to the royalty program. This is where you're hands off and you're simply passing people through. You're not running payroll for them. You're literally just referring people through. You can put a badge on your website or share a link. And so you are totally hands off. And for these people that sign up and start getting billed, we have 30-day free trials for everybody. So once they start getting billed, you will then earn a royalty payment. And then it goes up from there based on the number of customer accounts you have. So advisors are very easy, simple, hands off. You're not doing anything. Certified advisors are the next level up. So that is where you are going to actually be running payroll for your clients. You're going to take an exam and pass the exam. 50-question multiple choice exam. Have to have an 80% to pass. Just demonstrating your knowledge of that you know how to use the software. And then once you become a certified advisor by passing that exam, you qualify for the special pricing for the advisor. So the basic payroll goes from $10 a month down to $5 plus 50 cents per employee. And then the full service comes from $25 down to $10 a month plus the 50 cents per employee. So it's a deep discount, but then we are relying on you to set up, support, do all that with your clients. The Patriot support is going to be pretty hands off with your clients. It's going to be you supporting them and helping them.
And can we still have the employee or the client put in the hours, or we put in the hours?
Currently, you would put in the hours. However, you can still set up it up so that clients' employees could log into their portals. Currently, it's just one umbrella login that you would log in and do everything. But we are also working on a multi-login where your clients can log in as well. Right now, it's just logging in.
Now is the timesheet portion of all this all included?
The time is extra, so time and attendance is an add-on.
Oh, okay.
But the payroll. No. So yeah, so it's basic or full service, and then the time and attendance, and then that all that I showed you. That's all an add-on as well.
Okay, Annie, you want to come off the screen share, and then we'll just kind of wrap up here.
All right. Oops, hold on. Sorry. All right, I'm stopping sharing.
There we go. Perfect. So next steps, how do we get in touch with you if we want or need more information?
Okay, so you can go to patriotsoftware.com and we have our phone number there. We have live chat. We have a fantastic support team that will be there to answer all of the questions that you have. And then I believe Seth will have a link for you if you're interested in applying for the royalty program as an advisor. And one thing I forgot to mention is you can actually be both at the same time. You can still pass people through as an advisor and be a certified advisor for your own clients as well.
Great. All right, and yes, you forwarded me that information, and I've got it ready. So I will share that link on Between Wall and Main, and anywhere else I need to in order to get you guys in. All right, so what else you got for us? Any parting words? Any last minute thoughts or guidance or advice?
I didn't get to tell you about me, but I've been with the company for 20 years. I'm in my 20th year with them.
Wow.
Started out in HR, generalist benefits administration, and then I was there at the beginning when Patriot Software started. And so my job is to work actually with our development team for all of the enhancements and the new products and all of the fun features coming up. And then I also maintain our help center as well. So I do all the written articles and training videos. So if you look at a training video for the software, you don't get to see me, but you can hear me.
Gotcha. All right, very good. Well,
I was just going to say what's intriguing to me that's different is I like to control my payrolls, but I still want the online features for the client. And this is really the first one that I've seen where I can still control my payroll, use your software, get some online features with the client, and still make my money. You know, if I bundle it, can we pay for the payroll and
Yes.
pass it on? Okay, see, there's the trick. So
Yeah. So these are wholesale pricing, so you mark it up however you want to your client.
Because the value of me is when somebody puts in 45 hours of overtime, that there's an accountant going, wait a minute, I know your business. That didn't happen.
That is very true. Yes.
You know, because all of these services online, you're using their software. And so companies think, oh, it's so simple. I put in the hours, but it's so more complex than that.
Right.
So the reason I charge more for payroll is because you're working with an accountant who's looking at big picture.
That's true. That is exactly right.
I love the flexibility of your program and not tied in. So anyway, I wanted to throw that out.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you for that.
all right, great. Well, Annie, thank you so much for coming out and sharing with us. We really appreciate it. And y'all know how to reach Annie, and if you don't reach out to me, you know how to reach me, and I'll get you in touch with wherever you need to be gotten in touch with in order to get what you need. So thank you once again, and the recording of this, of course, will be live by Monday, if not tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All
Have
right.
a nice weekend.
We'll see you all later on.
See y'all on the web.
Bye.
Bye.